The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Hey, I can't blame you for staring back like that. It's just beautiful.
There's a bird came to see me, and I was like, I see you. Don't worry.
I see you. Yes. How important is that, right? I see you. I just watched Avatar Under the Water.
Amazing.
Right?
James
Right?
Cameron blows my mind. Pulled every heartstring again.
Yes, I love Avatar. I love the first movie and I love this movie. It's just incredible. It reaches me in a million different ways. And it's funny because one of the ways in which it really reaches me is in my sleep, because I have this dream often where I'm in the water and I'm on the underneath of the ocean, and where all the sand does those rivets like this. And I find, for me, to help me go to sleep, and that's what we're going to be talking about today here on Battle Strategies, is battle strategies for getting to sleep, getting that quality sleep, because sleep is a real issue. So for me, one of the things I do is I guide myself in a state of self-hypnosis along the bottom of the ocean, and I just keep following that river bend, or that it's not a river bend. I don't know what it's actually called, but in the sand, the grooves from the way the water's moved. And I just love it. And I almost always drift off into a beautiful sleep. Avatar Underwater, there was all kinds of those scenes. It was like, yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah.
I'm able to enrich my dreams with some new creativity and some new visuals, right? It's really rather cool.
Yeah, and dreams are, definitely an aspect to touch on here when it comes to sleep. But full disclaimer, my own personal sleep patterns, they were a mess for so long. Like, as a kid, I was fine. Growing up in nature, we had to be on the school bus super early. Whether or not I actually went to my school or somebody else's school was a different story. But, I had that circadian rhythm. Then I was out on my own. And in those years, working hospitality and tourism, being a college student, that work hard, play hard attitude, like traveling through Canada, taking on different jobs that were, again, like that same mentality. I was still programmed to wake up at a specific time with the sunrise, but I wasn't getting to bed until really late. So I was living off of very little sleep. There was nap times that I would have, but really it came back to that circadian rhythm. As soon as I was able to disassociate, there was this memory, and I believe, after working with other people in this space, that memory is so in us, because it didn't start with us, so if we can just get back to nature in that way, the circadian rhythm being what regulates our hormones, but also being, the sunrise and the sunset, these things back to nature. So I got my sleep back to normal. That's great. But I did have those struggles too. You're not alone in that. And I know so many people do. And it's not a life you want to be living, because you can't be your best. You're running off that.
One of my grandmothers had a very wise saying, and you grew up listening to me say it or repeat it. And I'm sure she repeated it from her mother and her mother too. before her. But it's our bodies heal best when they're at rest. And our bodies genuinely need that downtime. These are machines that energy is borrowing for X amount of time. What we consider time, or how we calculate time. And for that brief period of time, this energy is contained in this corporeal form. Well, that energy, like a battery, needs to recharge. And if you're only giving it little jolts of recharging, it's going to break down. And sleep is one of the most important and valuable resources and tools that we have to help ourselves to heal. You know, we need to allow that full recharge of the body and the brain. And what you say about the circadian rhythm, it's that is a very important thing, to wake with the sun and sleep with it when it sleeps. You know, when brother sun wakes in the morning, you wake up with. Brother sun gives life to all living creatures on this planet, and flows through all of us in some way, shape, or form. That being said, that is the time to wake up and to honor and to spend that time. When it gets dark, well, I think it was on How I Met Your Mother. Ted's mother said nothing good ever happens after midnight. Well, nothing. There's no need to be up after dark.
No, in fact, if you aren't laying down in a horizontal position by 10 p.m., our bodies are naturally programmed to go into the fight or flight, which is why we get a second wind at that time. Because
wow, right?
Yeah, that's so ancestral for us.
Yes.
You know, we're like, oh, I got a second win. This is great. Or, oh, our kid got a second win. Now we don't have to deal with the grumpiness. But it's like, no, that's actually not good, because now the body's going to be in flight or flight. You know, it's like they may still look like they're enjoying yourself. You may still be up partying, but it's, you know, what's happening on a physical level is different.
That's right. That fight or flight in the brain creates, you know, the neurobiology that goes along with that is that creates the stress hormone, right? And that's why it stresses out. It manifests physically into dis-ease. And
why the circadian rhythm can help regulate those hormones.
Now, what's a way of accessing explain for our audience's sake what the circadian rhythm is, and one method of realigning it.
Yeah, so the method is rising and setting with the sun. If you can watch the sun rise every morning, get out, do like, just look at the sun. You know, that's going to help regulate those hormones. Also, going to bed with the sun, watching the sun set, going in and doing your, like, a bit of a journaling work, you know, releasing from the day, or writing your to-dos for the next day. That's always great, because then you wake up and you're like, oh, I got stuff to do. You wake up with purpose, right?
I disagree with you on that one. One of the things we learned during a sleep hypnosis treatment is to release the day knowing that tomorrow we will naturally wake knowing what to do with the day if we allow our brains to have that rest and downtime of knowing that we've done all we could for today, but not to make those lists before we go to bed, because it keeps our brains busy at night.
Oh, yeah. You know, everything that we're going to talk about on the show is definitely like it, you know, take it for what it is. Like, it is all individual experience, and we're all programmed very differently. For myself, that is part of the purge at night, so that it's not in my mind. Because once it's on paper, no longer does it go around. You know, It's like an emotional colonic, a mind dump, really.
Right, that you're attaching something kinesthetic to because you're writing it out. That makes, absolutely. And we say that right at the start of the show. It says this is not medical advice. Let us rephrase that. This is our educated opinions on and based on experience of either
what worked for us, but we're different.
Yeah, of either personal experience or experiences we've learned from others, right? So, and that's what this show is all about, is helping you, the audience, to help yourself. It's like hanging, excuse me, I'm gonna help Wookie get out the door because he knows how to help himself.
Yeah. I actually I want to talk a bit more about that sun too. Like what the circadian rhythm is these natural earth rhythms, the sunrise, the sunset. And where is the sun located in our chakra? Our energy body is the solar plexus, right? So without that sleep, guess what? That solar plexus, the middle, our center, our core, isn't going to function properly. You know what that means? That battery my mom was just talking about, that's like your willpower battery. That is your confidence battery. All of that stuff goes down. If you guys want to be successful in your life, if you want to heal, if you want to travel, if you want to like write a book, if you want to do anything, these are very important aspects to really get right. There's a lot to be said. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
That's okay. I was going to say, I appreciate all the enthusiasm and the excitement. And for those persons who are capable of getting up and getting out and doing these sorts of things, that's beautiful. Now, let's take, for example, because one of the battle strategies that many suffer with in relation to sleep is the fact that, well, there's no pleasant way of saying this other than it's a fact of life. Some are on their deathbed. They are disabled. They only have so much time left. They know that that's very limited. They may even be on borrowed time. And they're looking for a battle strategy that affords them the ability to sleep comfortably and still wake up with the day and appreciate the day so that they can, it's about living differently abled when you're in that state of dis-ease, where you're at the next stage. So as much as for someone who's looking at getting healthier and stronger and bigger and better and getting better and better every day in every way, that's beautiful. Now, for someone who's at home,
regulating hormones too, having more regulated mood, having more regulated skin, having, so many things are affected by this. And for somebody who is on their deathbed, if that's where you want to be and you have accepted that part, you can still go see the sunrise and sunset. And I encourage you to do so. It's magic. That is, one of the gifts that we have.
So basically what I'd say, honestly, if somebody is in their home, they're in their final days, final hours, final whatever, and that you're on borrowed time from this point on, do what you can to get yourself to the window or to the patio doors, maybe out on the balcony or out on a patio. Perhaps you've got a neighbor that loves to walk every morning. Maybe they'd be happy to knock on your door and bring you out to the porch. And if you're in the hospital or you're in hospice, ask your healthcare team to open the curtains and, if possible, open the window first thing in the morning. That way you can hear the birds singing, you can feel the warmth of the sunshine, and come the evening hours, close those curtains, close those doors, climb back in, give yourself some meditative time, and allow your body to realign with itself. Some other strategies, moving on from this circadian rhythm, hypnosis is a really big thing. That self-talk, that self-hypnosis, letting things go. We touched on that a little bit when you said, when we talked about the differences of who each of us are, having different personalities. We're at different ages and stages in life, right? So I would do things a little bit differently. As I mentioned, I do a self-hypnosis treatment. And that is, once I get into my bed, I have my routine, my step-by-step, because that's how our brains work. They work in patterned routines.
Yeah, we have it already. And, anybody who says, oh, I don't have a habit, I don't have a routine, I want to be so free. I'm like, it's like, no, you have one. Do a time audit, because I bet you'll find patterns. We all have them. And, there's this such thing as like a hypnotic rhythm. This is all part of that DMN where we get into it. So why not be aware of it? Why not understand it so that you can, optimize in the areas that can be, and release some of the stuff that really isn't yours, or, doesn't align. Maybe you outgrew.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think, but again, this is like, you're going much deeper than I think just for tools right now, tools that someone can use today that says, you know what, I am not sleeping right. I am so trying. I hate the word try because it implies failure. Just do it. Honestly,
do or do not. There is no try. Like a Jedi mind trick, Yoda. Yeah.
So, when you get into bed, decide this is your routine. I'm going to brush my teeth. I'm going to wash my face. I'm going to use the potty, and then I'm going to get into bed. When I get into bed, I'm going to sit at the edge of my bed first, remind myself that now is sleep time. This is now sleep time. And then get under my covers, feel the squish, pay attention. We do mind body scans when we do a meditation where we check the skin texture of our scalp and the muscles around our eyes and the tensility of our chin. We do this whole body scan for meditation. Why would you not prepare yourself accordingly for bed, in my opinion? So when you get into that bed, feel those ceremony. Right? Feel your feet slip under those covers. Feel the pillow. Feel how deep your head will sink into that pillow. Make it a ceremony. Make getting into bed ceremonial in a very pleasant and practiced way, so that when you do, within seconds, your brain will go to sleep or into a meditative sleep, hypnotic like trance that will allow you to transition.
Yeah. And there's a lot of benefits that come from doing this ceremony too, right? Like there's so many people that study sleep for so many years, scientists, literally their entire careers, writers, their entire careers based on this, and people still do not know what dreams are. Do you know what some people have found out? That we tap into our pineal gland, melatonin, all that. It's like all connected with DMT, that endogenous natural psychedelic. So it is like a ceremony. If you can set your intention ahead of time, maybe with a microdose, maybe with cannabis, a high indica, that indica type of weed, a higher THC. You can do this with
the cushes. So think about this. If you guys want to know what cannabis strain really helps with sleep or get you into that meditative, hypnotic, sleep-like trance, it's anything Kush. Look for Master Kush, West Coast Kush, Kosher Kush, one of my favorites. Anything with OG Kush, anything with the Kush. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah. So, if you can set your intention, like think about it like a ceremony, and then other things that you could do to like get excited about sleep, other than like knowing that you're going to tap into this endogenous, like natural, psychedelic that blasts you off into another dimension, is that, there's also astral projection. There's also lucid dreaming, like all of these things. And you were a great asset for me back in the day, because one of the reasons why I had a hard time sleeping, even as a kid, I did have the circadian rhythm, but I also had night terrors, like crazy ones. And this was ancestral stuff, it's stuff that I understand more now, but at the time I had no idea. It was just terrifying. And, I still go to some of the same dimensions that I used to as a child. I still go there now, but, there's a different, I have different work to do in those realms. Sometimes I'll wake up, or I used to wake up more often. I'd be like, oh my God, I didn't even sleep. I'd just be exhausted. Now I can work with that a little bit more, but this lucid dreaming part, that's what you taught me with the nightmares, is, oh no, Ashley, you can go back in there. And if you go to back to those dimensions, know that you're in control. You were teaching me that really, really young. I don't know if it was conscious for you, the dream, world, but it did definitely help. And like later on in my life, I was able to slay a lot of those demons. But for a while, I was like, what I was experiencing in those night terrors was like, other past lives that I had. It was like past life regression. It was like sometimes it would be different dimensions of different realities, you know, where different things were happening. Sometimes it was like going back to like days. It's crazy.
Right. The very cool thing is that you learned your power, and that's what we all have. Every single one of us inside of us has the power to create and recreate yet again and create even again until we are 100% satisfied in our minds. So, you know, if you're going in a dream and it's into a dark space, flip a flashlight on your toenails, make them glow in the dark so you can see where you're stepping. And then, you know, if that's not enough light, let the walls glow in the cave if you're in a cave. And you can just, this is all the creativity of your own and the power of our own minds. And this is what we use when we're in a state of hypnosis, is the power of our own minds. Same with the
and we have our minds and our breath, whether we're in dream world or this world as well. Like I've been in some scary situations in dream world, and I was like able to consciously be like, take a breath, tell myself, okay, you're safe. Like it's crazy. These unconscious programs, when we're doing stuff like self-hypnotism and things, that sticks with you in those realms too. So you can navigate them and make different decisions. Kind of like Avatar, you know?
Absolutely 100%. And this is part of the neuro-linguistic programming part, is knowing how to talk to your brain. If you're someone who feels everything, then feel your way in a dream. All of those tools are very available to you. The subconscious mind, the conscious is resting. There are no guards up there. The filters are lax, so things just flow easily and smoothly from the back of your mind to the front of your mind. It works out the things. The ego has gone to sleep during REM. You know, when we're
our
in
self-identity. Yeah.
So we get to magically create and recreate in those time periods. So if you're someone that isn't getting sleep because of nightmares or night terrors, or if you're one of those persons who suffers day terrors, know that the power and the magic you have in your dream to control, help you control your state of breathing and your woosah, for lack of a better term, you can pull those tools right into your day terror as well, simply with that deep breath out and in. So you do it a little bit in reverse. Instead of breathing in first during a night terror, we breathe, and then in. Let go of that terror and then breathe in the positive ions from the universe, but let go of that negative terror. So again, like you say, breathing and the creativity of our imaginations is yet another incredible tool if it's something like daytime, like if it's night terrors or nightmares, that sort of thing. Now, the next thing is if you're finding it's been day after day after day and you just need that little something to help lull you into that. You introduced me a while back when I was dealing with sleep in insomnia. It's not that I wasn't sleeping, it's that I was waking up constantly. I couldn't stay asleep. So you introduced me to lotus leaf.
Yeah, blue, it's called a blue lily flower, but a lot of people call it a blue lotus, which is a psychoactive plant. It's great for sleep. You can make wine out of it, like all types of different things, but you can also smoke it. I like to just wrap it up in a high indica joint with some of the leaf or flower petals. It makes it look really pretty. You know, I did an article not too long ago on Sociadelic. You can find it on my website too, and it's of 30 different plants that you can mix with your weed to optimize it. But honestly, you guys, there are like hundreds and thousands of plants that you can smoke, and they all have different benefits. It's wonderful. I quit smoking cigarettes. This is another topic, but I still like the smoke thing. And so I found all these different ones that I could work with. Blue lotus is one, but also amanita can be great for sleep too. And one of the other hosts, Cindy, has had great experience with this. You can really set your intention and create an entire life, you know, do some of that hardcore law of attraction manifesting stuff with some of these plants as well. So there's a lot of exciting things that happen in these fields. Like, it's crazy that like there are so many books and experts out there, and like they barely touch the surface of what's possible.
It's incredible. It's amazing. And so much of this knowledge was once common knowledge. And in the last 100 years of pharmacopoeia, we have lost these natural wisdoms. So it's very nice to be bringing them back. And yes, there's all kinds of different plants and routines that a person can get into the habit of doing. So, you know, get rising and resting as the sun does is certainly one of them. Exercise, getting that fresh air, of course, when and if you can, and however you can, is absolutely essential. Knowing that if you're dealing with nightmares or daymares or worries or concerns, these sorts of things that are keeping you up, you have the power and the control over your brain. And so if you tell it, this is time, I need to plug you in, I need to recharge, and then we're going to go through this whole sleep hypnotic routine. And anybody needing help with sleep hypnosis or would like to try hypnotic treatment so that you can learn to do this for yourself, please don't hesitate to book an appointment at www.greenirene.ca. There is a place there to schedule a time with me. And if you can't reach me that way, call me or reach out in Messenger and say, I need your time, and you will get my attention. If you just come out with, hey, I don't think it's that important that I get back to you right away. But if you do want my attention, I need your attention is essential. And the same goes with Ashley. You're at elementalgrowth.org, and the website is down there, but it'll also be on different pages here throughout our show. It'll be at the end of the show in the credits feature. Again, that's elementalgrowth.org. And with you, you can book time. Now, I know right now your schedule is very full because you were on the road and such, but there is still slots.
Yeah, we're doing this documentary and like so many amazing things. I might even become a country singer. I don't know yet.
Honey, I love you. Stick to your talents.
I know, I've been listening to The Highway for days. I'm inspired.
Well, you sing like your mother. All right. On that note,
not as bad as you think. But we do have to go to commercial. When we come back, I want to talk about the foods. I want to talk about the moon, and I really want to dive more into that exercise one too. Those are going to be my three when we get back. All right.
Okay. Well, it's important to me as well that we focus on the specific challenges that people face. So in particular, chronic pain is one in which it's very difficult to sleep when you are in chronic or spastic pain. So what are some of the tools and techniques we can do with that? Because getting a good night's sleep is different than trying to get sleep, if you understand what I'm saying. So
so you bring up the problems and I'll dive in with some of the stuff that we figured out.
All right, great. On that note, we'll be back in just 3.5 minutes, friends. Okay.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Babe, it's spring. Just saw Robin.
Awesome. Let's get our butts to Limestone City Hydroponics. They carry Happy Frog and Ocean Forest soils and lots of promos.
Limestone City Hydroponics carry everything you need to get veggies veggin', from organic fertilizer to cloth grow pots to, well, everything. Visit them today. Don't delay. In-store, free delivery, or curbside. We're here to help. 613-548-0420.
Cannabis edibles are an effective way to manage pain and other ailments, especially when you deal with your trusted partner, Legacy 420, in Tyendinaga Mohawk territory. You see, we lab test every product on site to ensure proper dosage every time, which is critical when consuming cannabis edibles. All Legacy 420 edibles are made by our classically trained baker and chocolatier, and we also have super tasty vegan options.
Our baker has been in the industry for 25 years. She's also a chocolatier. Everything from savory to sweet, your chocolate bars, brownies, butter tarts, you name it, we make it.
Talk to our knowledgeable Cannatex about our incredible variety available. Give your trusted partners a call. Legacy 420 out on your road.
In February of 2022, the Victoria Cannabis Buyers Club and Ted Smith were fined $6.5 million. This for helping 8,500 patients with access to medical cannabis. In our interview with Ted, he spoke to us about how people can donate to help in an upcoming court challenge. And here is part of that interview. From what I've seen lately, I believe that you've got something that you're trying to do as far as fundraising to deal with this next court challenge.
For now, people can write checks directly to Jack Lloyd Law Corporation or send e-transfers to save the VCBC at gmail.com. I guess those are the two easiest ways for people to help right now.
PACE Radio is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
And we're back. I hope you had a good break. I know I myself used the opportunity or the time to set up my shatterizer. It's very damp where I am right now. And so I am battling a little bit of inflammation and some fatigue along with that because I did not get a great night's sleep due to chronic pain. Now, one of the reasons why I, like many others, suffer from chronic pain is I am old and I've used my body and I've damaged it. And that can keep me up at night. So when it comes to chronic pain for sleep or trying to get a good night's sleep when you're coping with or trying to manage chronic pain, cannabis is an amazing tool. And I use cannabis in a multitude of ways. One of the first ways I use it is topically. I use it for my feet. I have huge issues, tremendous issues with my Achilles tendons. So, I give my feet that good rub with a cannabis-infused coconut oil. I often will take a bath prior to bedtime that is cannabis-infused bath salts or a cannabis-infused bath bomb. There's no psychotropic high.
Your salts are amazing.
Thank you. You love them, eh?
You can put that coconut oil in there too. It's nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Like take a teaspoon of it and throw it in your bath, like in your foot baths or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's
it's not just like. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, there's no psychedelic effects. Even kids can do it, which is great. But I also wanted to mention, too, that magnesium helps you sleep as well, that Epsom salt. So when you're mixing the two together, that magnesium actually balances your hormones again. It helps you regulate almost like an adaptogen in a sense. It's not an adaptogen because it's not a herb. It's a salt, magnesium sulfite. But it's great. Yeah.
Absolutely. No. And it's really good for spasticity too. So as you know, when I was one of my challenges is spasticity. Anywhere throughout my body, I get Charlie horses. Now I'm in way better control over these than I ever was historically. And I get better and better every day in every way. But one of the things that I've learned is it's a magnesium deficiency.
Yeah, it's very, very common.
Yeah, so adding magnesium
specifically with women, but all over the board.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So, soaking in those bath salts Getting a magnesium supplement. I mean, kale is amazing, but even more amazing than kale is raw cannabis. Raw cannabis contains all of the essential nutrients, vitamins, minerals, absolutely everything we need to sustain human life is contained in the cannabis plant in its raw form, in its seed form, as well as the cannabis plant itself. So start introducing it into your diet.
Another one I want to add too, just because like I have got my girlfriend like screaming in my ear here, so if I don't say it, a shout out to Judy. She's like the cacao goddess temple lady, and so cacao really high in magnesium. This is the raw, natural, psychoactive chocolate. You know, it is considered psychoactive. However, it is 100% legal, and it's a lot of people who work in that space ceremonially would not consider it that way. The thing with this though is that it opens you up to like the other spirits, really high on the superfood scale too. So you want it in the morning though, right? Like this is about setting your whole day up for sleep, like as if sleep was your ceremony too. In the morning you can wake up, get that energy boost from the cacao. Quit your coffee because that's going to interrupt your sleep as well. Big one. Plus it causes inflammation. So if you could swap out the coffee for the cacao, that's really going to be helpful. And she has a free cut out the coffee challenge on her website. And I've interviewed her quite a few times. Amazing girl. Yeah.
Okay, so having the right intention set for the day. Adjusting our diets with things like, obviously, you know, like introducing the right things into our diets, getting the wrong things out. For future reference, for anybody that's wondering, yes, caffeine. Caffeine definitely should not be in your diet, especially if you're over 50, because it is a
or
leech.
have inflammation. Yeah.
Pardon?
Yeah.
It leaches the calcium and the nutrients from our skeletal system. It contributes to osteoarthritis. And so if you're someone, again, that's dealing with, battling with a chronic immune deficiency condition, there is guaranteed to be inflammation. And this is where the inflammation comes from in consuming caffeine.
Yeah.
It's a
and
ripoff.
all disease comes from inflammation. Yes. Yeah, it was like totally industrialized because it is a drug, a very strong drug that drives people. And so they used it when they were developing the workforce. That's why they have coffee breaks, so that you can be more productive working for the machine in the rat race. It's a crazy thing. The way that they marketed it was genius. And this is a sacred medicine. Caffeine is in so many different things. Coffee is a psychoactive plant, so is cacao, and both were dominated by the industry. It's pretty crazy because we lost that sacredness that was once there and can be there again if we stopped overusing it in the way that we do as an addictive thing to, like, you know, ease our pain and our inflammations because we get the feel good dopamine hit. But at the end of the day, it's also driving the inflammation because it's overused and misused.
Yes. Yes. Now, for the diehards like me who are definitely caffeine addicts, now I have reduced my caffeine consumption substantially and incredibly. Whether or not it'll ever be eliminated completely from my diet, time will tell. Who knows what the future holds? I don't. What I do know, though, is that there are some amazing substitutes. Now, I have not tried this cacao. One of the things I did try, my brother and I, your Uncle Jim and I, a few years back when I found out about caffeine and when I found out that I had a very depleted skeletal system, it was like, wow, you know, caffeine is top of the list to get off of. So I said to Jim, you know, I'm a miserable cuss without don't talk to me before my second cup. You know that.
Yeah, he literally made you a cup that said, "Shut the fuck up." Oh, you're literally having it.
Because that's how I'll say it. Shut the fuck up. Don't talk to me before my coffee. But so he said to me, Irene, okay, you got to try cowboy coffee. And I'm like, okay, fuck, you know what? Whatever Jim comes up with, you're just going to try, because he's all about the natural stuff, right? So he had harvested a bunch of dandelion roots, and you cut these up into little bite-sized chunks, and you roast them very slowly for a period of time until it starts to smell like coffee in the house. So you're roasting them in your oven at about like 180, 200.
Coffee beans too. So that's why it has that coffee smell.
So the dandelion root starts to give off that smell, and then he puts it into like a jar, and he saves it for a couple of weeks. Well, when you open that jar up and you make a coffee with that, talk about enlightened, like, woohoo. Oh, and we lost Ashley. Okay. I'm hoping she will be back. Perhaps what I could do. All right. So coffee is definitely something that we want to get out of our system, out of our diets. We want to introduce more natural substances like the lotus leaf, for example, and or find an alternative to the coffee bean, such as dandelion root, cowboy coffee. Mullein is another great, is it mullein?
Cowboy tobacco. No, chicory. Chicory root is those little blue purple flowers. That's what they serve in prison. But it's also because it has nutrition in it too, and it's way cheaper than serving their criminals caffeine.
Well, yeah, okay.
So chicory root, it is one. It grows everywhere. It's like dandelions. You can find it anywhere. And it's very common. These beautiful flowers, but it looks like you wouldn't want to eat it because it's tough. Dandelion, has a bit of a pungent to it, but this is like one of those superfoods, and it's also good for sleep because it is a detoxifier. So if you're using that in the morning, that's going to help you help your body get rid of all the stuff that's causing the inflammation in your body. So by the time you get to sleep time, you can have a better sleep. So this is another reason why it's a great substitute. And, another thing that we're getting when we're roasting these things, like a roasted coffee, roasted dandelion, roasted chicory, anything, is that aromatherapy. That is that smell that you're talking about. Guess what? That is part of what stimulates you to give you that energy in the morning. Aromatherapy is an amazing spiritual medicine. And, anybody who's working with essential oils or anything, I'm sure somebody who's obsessed, go talk to them and figure out what's going on here, because there's so many benefits.
Yeah, there are so many different things exactly, and everything. So this is the flower that you're referring to.
Great.
And
it's
we
so
do,
common.
especially here in Ontario, especially, and these are what the roots will look like. Interestingly enough, there was also let me just get to it. There's all kinds of recipes online as to and directions as to how to make your own coffee from chicory root. So if you're not doing anything today and you had a bad night's sleep last night, you want to guarantee a good night's sleep tonight, now that you're up, the sun is shining, get your buns out there, go for a nice little walk, whether it's a quick fast-paced walk or a nice slow meandering walk.
In the sunrise or the sunset.
And look for some of that chicory root. Go online this evening.
I would still say, I would also say, the cacao, again, just to come full circle on that one as well, it's that magnesium, right? If you are getting that from the chocolate, or if you're addicted to chocolate, like a lot of women come 5, 6 o'clock, they're like, I need my chocolate hit. But no, it's not. It's wanting that added energy boost that you get to top up your magnesium store, all these kinds of things. So it doesn't have to be an addiction. If you can get it in the morning, then that's better. That cafe mocha effect could be great. But another thing too that I really like about the cacao is that it is so ceremonial, but you can do ceremony with any of these amazing herbs. There's so many benefits. If you're having gut issues,
so right there,
liver issues,
Yeah. So right there, what I'm going to say is now we're going to change direction a little bit, and let's go to the listeners and the viewers right now who are sitting at home going, "Are you effing kidding me?" Okay, I barely got the energy to get through the day, and you're telling me I got to get rid of my coffee if I want to have a good night's sleep. You're telling me to get up and go chase the sunshine. Well, you know what? I've been sitting in this part of my blah blah for a yank amount of time, and I've only got so much time left, and so on and so forth. Or I hurt too much. I'm in too much pain, whether it's physically or mentally or emotionally, is neither here nor there. The truth is, these people are right there right now, and what they need is a darn good night's sleep. So one of the ways in which we're going to do that or appease them to help these people help themselves, or these persons help themselves, is get yourself into the right mindset. Find a pattern that works for you. Get your brain working in that pattern. If you need a supplement or an aid to assist, cannabis is an amazing tool, and there's multiple ways of using it. Knowing what's in your diet, having the right things in your diet so that you're not disturbed all night.
Fasting can help. You know, a lot of yogis would say don't eat past 2 hours before bed. You don't want to go to bed on a full stomach, even though in our culture we were conditioned, wake up, have a midnight snack, whatever. But that's really not good because your body can't fully rest and digest. So you're not going to have the energy or that same quality of sleep. A lot of nutritionists, one of the things I was taught in nutrition school, don't eat after 7 o'clock. So I literally, it's a common thing that kitchen's closed at 7. Yeah, there are exceptions and days, but for the majority of the time, our like actual routine is 7. Kitchen is closed. For food wise too, if you do want to eat something or drink something, it would be like dark cherry juice. Like this is one of the ones that's more sedative. A lot of people claim that turkey is, though some people say that that's a myth and other people say that it's real.
Tryptophan, I mean, scientifically, the amount of tryptophan, it activates certain chemicals and releases melatonin in the brain for sure.
Yeah, and there are, you can even get tryptophan in a vitamin supplement, but and it helps with mood regulation. I've got different studies on that too, like when it comes to like turkey specifically that I've read. But the tryptophan, when it comes to mood, I'll definitely say that would be one to pick up on, or like if again there's gut health issues or anything to do with that, like gut mind axis. I also really want to add to that, there are these, like you can do a quick little Google search, find out what things to eat that are going to help with sleep, what things to get rid of to help with your sleep. This mindset piece is really, really big. And one of the ways that I get excited about sleep is the endogenous DMT release. Also the moon. I'm making it ceremonial. In my book, Be the Change, I wrote out like little types of, inspiration for each one of the moons. So again, you like tap into this ancestral teachings, because nature is alive and talking to us. But not just that, you can get excited about sleep. It's a totally new beginning every single day. Any kind of change, you may not see it right away. It's like if you have your own kid and you don't realize how big your kid's grown, or if you have your own dog and you don't realize like the changes that they go through from puppy to 3 years old. It's you don't always see it in yourself either. So it's really important when you can tap into these kinds of natural cycles, the circadian rhythm, and other Mother Nature's other cyclical cycles like the moon and the seasons. This is all really going to help you become the change. Change from this body that's in pain. You don't have to live in the past. The ways that you hurt your body before don't have to be what happens now. Maybe it's time for new lessons and new changes and new ways of loving yourself. Mind you, I just heard a song on the highway from Avery called Self-Love, where she's like, and I hate this song about self-love. It's hilarious, but it is also really important tools in order to be able to care for yourself. You know, this body is the one we were given. We might have even picked it, so why not be grateful and you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, you're into a lot of woo-woo. You're into a lot of woo-woo spiritual stuff there, and when it comes right down to, and I mean, there's a lot that certainly plays a significant role in a lot of different ways, but when it comes right down to it, some of the key things that we need for sleep to get, one of the key 4 factors for obtaining a good quality sleep: attitude, diet. So I guess attitude or mindset, right? Mindset.
Yeah.
Diet, exercise, and fresh air. Beyond that, it's about getting those things into a regular routine, isn't it?
Well, we are just a plant. We need, you know, to function properly, the same things a plant does: water, air, and sunshine.
Yeah.
That moonlight is quite beautiful too, especially for women. Though there is this magnetic pull, you know, and everybody's hydrating. Everybody's made of water, you know, so everybody's feeling that pull. But when you can tap into it, life gets more exciting. You know, it may be woohoo, but it's also true for me.
Mm-hmm. No, and you know what? I find it is for a lot of people, but I also find that there's a frustration with chronic anything, whether it's chronic pain, chronic addiction, chronic disease, chronic disability, chronic sleep issues, chronic
frustration,
stress, well, there's a frustration that goes along with chronic, right?
Yeah.
And that frustration, I mean, and here's the thing:
frustrated that it's continuing. Why does that need to be the hypnotic rhythm? Why does that need to be the program? It doesn't. You know, it really doesn't. And this is to be the change protocol.
There are, I guess what I'm saying, yes, but there's also different ages and stages, and there's also different types. Hearing the same message over and over again, said the same way: thy will be done, thy will be done, this is the way it is. I mean, I don't give a flying rat's ass anymore. I'm frustrated and I want to go to sleep. I want to be able to go to sleep and sleep for the next 6 to 8 hours without being disturbed.
Do you want it more or less than the coffee? Do you want it more or less than the junk food? Do you want it more or less than the habit of staying up late? Do you want it more or less? Everything, if you're coming back to the mindset, everything is a decision. And you're in charge of those decisions.
Yes.
How amazing is that? You are in charge of you. Fucking ain't right. You can control something. Why wouldn't you want to? Make a different decision, dumbass. Which do you want better? Quit being so frustrated.
We don't have to call ourselves names, though. We don't have to call ourselves names. Because how we talk to ourselves.
Sometimes I do. But sometimes I need a stick kicking.
No, we don't. I have the right to treat myself with either brutality and aggression or with love and compassion. And I prefer love and compassion.
Yeah. Look, I'm like hippie good vibes, but there is dark nights of the soul too. You know, there is a duality to everything. I'm not going to deny the bitch that's inside of me. No, I'm gonna like
Meredith Brooks. True. I love that song. Meredith Brooks. I'm a bitch.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. If you haven't read it yet, Ashley, you'll have to listen to it at the very least. Women Who Run with the Wolves.
Yeah.
An amazing, powerful fantastic story. I think a lot of women who are going through hormonal changes that are menopausal in my age bracket right now are having sleep issues. This is hormonal. Once again, circadian rhythm, get in alignment with that moon and your own personal tides. Create a pattern, write the program for your brain to run. If you want to open your computer and have Microsoft Office open the minute you hit the power button, you program that. It's the same with your brain. If you want to go to bed at 10 p.m. and go to sleep by 10:10, you are asleep, then you need to pre-program that ahead of time. Start at 8 p.m., decide how you're going to pattern your sleep, go in, make this your routine. Do that for 10 days. You'll see a whole change. I hit the pillow now, and the minute I feel the pillow touch in certain spots of my face, it's like, yep, sleep time. My brain knows. Turn everything else off. It is a routine. Things like cannabis help. Again, stick to the indicas, like Indicoach, as Ashley said, and the cushes. All of the cushes are fantastic. Master Kush, Master OG, OG Kush, West Coast Kush, Kosher Kush, one of my favorites, and Afghani Kush. Afghani Kush is an original land strain, land race strain. Absolutely amazing, very, very powerful, and will definitely assist. There's also, you can introduce things like that lotus leaf. It is amazingly powerful. It really does help with transcendental dreaming. And there was something else you mentioned as far as adding to the cannabis or just on its own.
Yeah, Amanita muscaria.
Okay.
Which is, the red mushroom with white dots, the one from Mario.
Oh, okay. Very cool. Okay, so again, that's psilocybin. So that's like psilocybin, right?
They are different. Yeah, they are different types of fungi. So psilocybin is more like cannabis in that there's like this huge spectrum. Amanita has a spectrum too, but psilocybin, psilocin, like that spectrum, we hear a lot more about. Amanita needs to be prepared a specific way. Psilocybin, you can eat it right from the ground. You can dry it. You can cook with it. You can anything. Amanita does need preparation.
Everybody loved her cream of mushroom, homemade cream of mushroom soup. So it turns out they were special mushrooms.
Yeah.
So moving on. So the mushrooms for sure. And I mean, of course, it's like things like chamomile tea, growing your own,
lavender, smelling lavender. I have
lavender in my pillowcase, and I change them about every 3 months. It's just a little sachet. My nanny, my mamere, used to put it in my pillow, so I put them in your pillow. When you were little.
I got one here. Yeah. You can smell the essential oils too. I have a couple book recommendations too for people who really want to take control in this way. One of them would be Own the Day by Aubrey Marcus. There's also Matthew Walker is like an expert in the space. So anything by him, you could YouTube it. If you like Joe Rogan, you can find his podcast there too. And then also, there was
also, she'll have to put it in the comments because we are out of time.
A dream book, is it?
For tuning in. Okay, a dream book. So she'll put it in the comments. Thanks, Ashley. We'll talk real soon.
Yeah, bye.
And there we have it. Thank you for tuning in today. If you have any questions directly for Ashley, you can email her at ashley@elementalgrowth.org, or you can reach Green Irene at info@greenirene.ca. Further information can be found on either of those websites. Notably, Battle Strategies airs live every week here on the Pace Radio Network, broadcasting on cbgtv.com. Production assets and content have been created by myself, Irene York, and the show is hosted by Ashley Vibes and Green Irene. On that note, be happy, get healthy, and stay strong.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network. here at paceradio.net.